Jefferson Robbins with NCWLIFE. It's been about 15 months since WIC Communications, the owner of the Wenatchee World newspaper, acquired NCWLIFE TV. Since then, there's been a process of trying to unify the two news organizations into one. Rick Boone is a news executive who's worked in several markets around the country, and as of January 20th, he is news director for both NCWLIFE and the Wenatchee World. He joins me now. Welcome, Rick.
Good to be here, Jefferson. You know, this is a really cool time for all of us to be part of this organization, and I am just overly privileged to be here with you and also here in Wenatchee, in the Wenatchee Valley.
Well, we welcome you, and we're glad you're here. I wanted to ask you, Rick, about your background in news. You've worked, as I said, in several markets as a TV journalist. You've been on camera, behind the camera, so tell us about that.
Well, first of all, I got to tell you about my personality. I'm a very upbeat, very uplifting, very happy, gregarious type of person. I'm just born that way. I started as a baby. I was happy. I've always had that type of great personality because I think if you can have an aura about you that brings joy and happiness and a calming aspect, a cool person to be around, I think it bleeds into everybody else in the community, everyone about you, and I think it says a lot about how you can manage and how you can set a culture, and it's a privilege to have that type of personality and lead a newsroom. So that right there tells you about my personality. I'm about being a cool person, a cool boss, a good person to be around, but also overly respectful to all the people I work with and overly grateful. So that's my number one thing. About my experience, I've been a reporter, I've been an anchor, small markets, medium markets, major markets. I've been a news director for several years in multiple stations. And I tell you, every adventure is always a new adventure for me. And this is the beginning of one that I'm so looking forward to. And I'll tell you why, because I love small communities. And the reason why, because you get to the heart of every story. And journalism really means a lot in smaller communities because everything means a lot to folks who have chosen to be in such great locations like this. In a bigger city, people tend to not hone in on journalism or understand the purpose of what a TV station or a newspaper can do for you. But in a smaller community, they get it and they understand it tremendously.
So you feel like those kind of organizations, newspapers and TV, they're like landmarks for the people who get their news from that direction.
Oh, and also it's a place where people will challenge it too and let you know, and that's what I love about a community that I'm welcoming myself into and everyone else is right now to me as well, is that if we get it wrong or if it's something maybe someone didn't like that we're covering or whatever, people will see at Fred Meyer and be like, Jefferson, why'd you do that? I love that. I love that outreach that they can go and touch you and say, you did it right or you did it wrong. That's what it's all about. That type of impactful journalism is so cool to me. You don't get it in bigger towns.
Well, where got you into journalism? Why did you want to join the news profession?
Fun story, Jefferson, fun story. I was 5 years old. I grew up in the DC area and I was sitting and watching TV with my mother. And we were watching WUSA, actually it was WDVM, Channel 9 at that time in Washington, D.C., and it was Maureen Bunyan and Gordon Peterson, they were anchoring the news. And I said to her, I want to do that. She says, what do you want to fix TVs? What? I'm like, no, I want to, whatever they're doing, I don't know what they're doing. I'm 5. I want to do that. And she says, okay. And it was like, from that point on, I have no idea how it jumped in my brain. I have no idea how I got the thought, but it hit me and I stuck with it and I never diverted.
Well, you've joined us as news director for these two fairly different news organizations. We delivered news. We both are in the information business. We deliver it by a different media. When you came onto this role, how's the job described to you? What's your task here?
Well, the task is fun and challenging. The task is when you have television and print, two things that unfortunately a lot of audiences are drifting away from because there's so many different, so much different competition out there. Unfortunately, it's not the days where the 1950s or 60s where you had maybe 2 or 3 networks and you could get away with basically everyone watching those particular things or reading those particular newspapers because that's all they have. Right now, we got a lot of competition. So one of the challenges that I had is trying to find a way to bring people to the mediums that they know so well, television and print, but also how we can branch those out and get those on other platforms that can drive them back to the original platforms. We're talking social media, we're talking about our digital output as well. So that was a way to be a multi-platform newsroom. We can integrate our TV station, NCWLIFE, and also Wenatchee World and our other print properties all together where they can support each other. Either reporters for print can help out television, television can help out print, and we can also expand it on the digital and social aspect because we want to be where the viewers are. You know, the days of us hoping people will watch the 5 o'clock news or wait for that Sunday paper may still be there, but may not be there as strong as they were before. So now we have to always meet those viewers where they are, not every day, every 5 seconds, because you know how it is. There's something new, there's something new, there's something new. So we got to be on top of it because they're watching and they want to know what's going on.
How do you expect that to translate, Rick, for the reader or the viewer at home? Will they see a difference in their 3-day-a-week Wenatchee World? Will they see a difference on the 5 o'clock evening news on NCWLIFE?
Well, you know, I was talking actually to one of the editors yesterday, and I was saying that one of the things that I love about newspaper and also print and visuals is that if we can get to that visual aspect across all platforms, have more pictures in our newspaper, have more visuals on our TV, you know, where it's less readers and we can bring our viewers to locations by showing them the locations that we're talking about. If it's the newspaper, having multiple pictures to tell the story or pictures that tell the story. The context and the text is great, but the pictures bring it to life. Every story is a visual because we see it. And then we either read it or we hear it. So, but having that visual aspect just gives it a heart. So I think if we can lean into more of that, people can see more visuals in our print, see more visuals on our television, then they'll start getting the chance to see more of what's in their community as well. Not just hearing it, not just reading it, but seeing it too.
Now, you've led broadcast teams, as I understand it, in
Yeah.
different markets. I don't know what your experience is in newspapers. Have you worked at newspapers before?
I have worked in newspapers in more of the amateur aspect. I actually did at the beginning of my career before I got into television. I tried to break into newspapers. I tried to work for, back in my home area, the Montgomery County Journal and the Prince George's County Journal, as a reporter. And I remember I had to write a couple of articles for that, and it was actually kind of cool. The thing that the editors at that time, they didn't want to have the visual aspect, they just wanted to have text, which I kind of like, I don't want to show you some of the things I'm writing about. But that's my only aspect of doing it from a writing standpoint. Now, from being a television journalist, we also have to write text for digital, which is also for the websites, which are in kind similar to a print story for a newspaper. And sometimes what I've always had as a manager and as a reporter, I always use our digital platforms as a way that we can explain a story that you don't see on TV. So you have the story on television that you could see for 2 minutes, but you can get the full story, which could be a full page or several pages online to explain the story in detail. So in my opinion, telling a journalistic story is the same no matter the platform you're on. It depends on how you want to limit it or how you want to expand it.
You've spent some time this week getting to know the staff, the people that you're working with
Yeah.
at both places. I should add that NCWLIFE and the Wenatchee World are under one roof. The reporters see each
Yeah.
other across the dividers every day. Do you foresee any particular challenges in getting those previously two separate teams to be one team serving two outlets?
No, because here's the thing: everybody's a journalist. Everybody is a reporter, an editor, an anchor, you know, a production person, and I think we all have the same mission, no matter our skill. Our heart is the same way, is helping the viewer and helping the residents that we serve get the information that they need, and also be a resource for them when they need us.
We've seen, Rick, just in the Googling after we learned your name and that you were going to be joining us.
Yeah.
that You've had a presence on TV in many markets.
Yeah.
People can find YouTube videos of you out on the streets during a hurricane, cold weather, being the man on the street during the big tailgate. Have you developed over that time a philosophy of news gathering? Do you have an approach that has worked for you that you recommend to other journalists?
One of the things that I always looked at when approaching a story is one very core thing. What's important to the person I'm doing this for, versus just doing a story with a mouthpiece, let's say serving the purpose of being a voice for, let's say, an elected official or someone of significance, is keeping that story the way it should be for the people. That's what journalism is all about. And if a story impacts somebody, I think those are the rich stories versus a story that comes from, which a lot of folks may know, but we call it in the business, press releases, or from a PIO, a public information officer, and telling their story, which is okay, but it's also about telling that mom's story that has gone through some difficulty out there, or that businessman who lost his business because of some particular tax issues or whatever it may be, telling their stories, or if they have problems, calling us to solve those issues in their lives. So telling stories from a people point of view for the people that we serve has been my philosophy, and it works so well because people, viewers, are smart, much times smarter than us. If they know that you only go to communities when there's a shooting and you want to get these horrible sound bites and walk out of there, they're not going to feel respected. But if you put yourself in the communities that you serve on an ongoing basis, get to know the folks all the time, so no matter if it's something good or bad, they know who you are. So I think if you always have that approach, caring about the people we serve, that's the number one thing, and it's worked for me every single time. No matter what market I've ever been a reporter in, just coming to someone without the camera and saying, how you doing? My name is Rick. What's going on? What do you do? Asking them about their lives. What's important to them? What frustrates them? How can I help? And it seems to be something successful, and I love it.
You've only recently touched down, but you spent some time in the Seattle market
Yeah.
before this. So first impressions on your first days in the Wenatchee Valley, what do you think?
Well, it's a little cold, but other than that, I'll get used to it. I like it. I was just saying to Eric today, and it was a Mike. It was a Mike I met in the hallway. I was saying I love the fact that there are no lines. I love it. At least where I've been shopping. You know, I go to Dollar Tree, I'll go to the grocery store and stuff like that. I'll go to KFC. There's no lines. You just pay for your stuff and it's there. I love it. I don't wait. I love that. So I love the fact that everything is so easy and so cool here and so relaxing and fun. It's like no stress. Nobody's mad, no horns beeping, nobody doing anything to get in front of your car or anything like that. It's so nice.
When there's a traffic jam in the
respectful.
Wenatchee Valley, the traffic jams usually only last about 15 minutes.
Oh, I love that.
So
Oh, I love that.
it's not an all-day commitment.
See, everybody's so chill. That's what it's all about. Listen, we're only going to be on this planet for so long. Let's enjoy every moment with each other and have an uplifting point of view of it.
Is there anything I didn't ask, Rick, that you think that viewers and readers of the Wenatchee World should know as you come into this new job as news director?
Well, I think I touched on a little bit about making sure that we're there for the viewers, and I think that's very important. Coming up with ways where we can solve their problems, where we can fight back when someone does them wrong, when we can be their voice when they feel that they're the voiceless, when we can defend them and be on their side, that they have a place to go. When everything seems to hit against the wall for them and they're frustrated and nothing works, pick up that darn phone and call NCWLIFE and Wenatchee World. We're here for you.
Well, Rick Boone, news director for NCWLIFE.
Is that it, homie? Is this it? That's all I get? Is this a little time?
I have a standard sign-off.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm interrupting. Okay. You're doing a good job. By
Thank
the way.
you so much,
Yeah.
boss. I appreciate it.
Nah. I'm just an employee like you. We're all employees. And that's a perspective. I think if you have an organization where there's no hierarchy, we're all the same. We're just all doing the best we can because we're all just trying to get along and do our best for the people we're here for.
Rick Boone, news director for NCWLIFE TV and the Wenatchee World. Look forward to working with you. Thanks for being here.
You too.
You're watching the NCWLIFE channel.